So we last heard from Homemade Toffee Company back in November 2020. You may remember seeing them on the virtual screen that month as well. Bless you. Well, a lot has happened since we got our first taste, and Chief Toffee Officer Randi Holm is back to take the PubTalk stage to share some updates, including awards, new flavors, and a new purchase. We love good news, Randi, so come on up and share.
Hi, everyone. Randi Holm, Chief Toffee Officer. As I mentioned, in 2020, totally self-appointed, but when you do everything, almost everything, you got to come up with something fun. And it's funny, listening to Amanda and RC's story, very similar trajectory. So probably a lot of it has to do with small business, but also just kind of fun since we're both, confectioners, chocolatiers. So if you don't know who we are a small batch, family-owned confectioner based actually just a few blocks over in the Bend Central District on First Street. And we specialize in hazelnut toffee made with locally and regionally sourced ingredients. You might notice some samples on your chairs. I think a few people have already dug in. And before I get too deep in the update, I have to apologize for my shaky hand and awkwardness. Last week was my very first time speaking live for about 2 years, and bless the ladies of the Sun River Women's Club for putting up with me. It was a bit rough. I did bring lots of samples tonight to kind of ease the pain, so dig in. My original PubTalk was November of 2020. It actually was the same night as Seahorse Chocolates. And it was fully virtual, which kind of allowed me to cheat a little bit. You can probably see my notes tonight, whereas on the computer I could hide them very well. So in exchange for putting up with my possibly subpar performance, I did bring the samples, but I didn't bring any of the props that were a bit controversial last time. I heard that people enjoyed my yellow arrows, but I feel like some of my staff was a little embarrassed. So didn't bring props, just samples. Back to business. So November 2020, it does seem like a lifetime ago, as you mentioned. Time is just in this strange dimension these days. And in a lot of ways, it was a lifetime ago for myself, my family, and the business. And so much has changed, good and bad. So I am going to ask for a little audience participation here. Do you want to hear the bad news first or the good news first? Okay, good, because even if you chose good, I was going to go with bad. I like to close on a good note. So bad was pretty bad. 3 short months after my virtual presentation with EDCO, my husband was actually diagnosed with cancer. He's probably going to kill me for sharing this story, but yeah, he's here. Yeah. So on top of trying to manage a small business, which is already extremely difficult and exhausting, even in a good year, which we all know the past few years have not really been that good, we also had to deal with cancer on top of COVID. So we spent the entire last year in surgeries, and I say we, and it was actually him, but trying to run a small family business along with surgeries and chemotherapy, and then unexpected open heart surgery during November, which is actually our busiest quarter of business because we're toffee, we're very seasonal. But we made it through. I don't share this to gain sympathy or make excuses, but just when you own a family business, it's so intertwined that sometimes it's hard to tell, where the business starts, family starts, where it ends. It's just very intertwined, and it makes for a really unique experience. And it was a really, really hard year, really hard. So to say that 2021 affected every aspect of our lives would be a definite understatement. My staff, which I will introduce one of our staff members in a little bit, and our just ardent local fans that have supported us since our farmers market days are really the only reason that our doors are open. I could not have done it without that support. And so I'm forever grateful for that. 2021 was also full of supply chain issues, labor shortages, and now extreme inflation. So just one challenge after another. One of our main ingredients is butter. You can't make a single batch of toffee without it, and that's increased on average about 58%. Cardamom, which is a spice we use in one of our best-selling toffees, our cardamom and vanilla, went from $20 a pound to $60 a pound in one short month. So we're still hanging on making that one because we know how many people love it, but it might need to take a break. And that's just 2 examples, and there's hundreds more. Every day just seems like there's a new price increase, a new shortage, a new challenge. I like to call them challenges now. Yeah. But anyways, that's a lot of kind of bad news, and I know we all hear enough about that on the daily and on the nightly news. So good news. Let's go there, because there is some of that. Even in the last 2 years, which have been extremely rough, there have been just pockets of magic and special things that have happened, and it always seems to happen like when we need them most to keep going. So as you can see, my husband, Billy, best news, he's here tonight and currently cancer-free. And his hair fully back, as you can see, so I'm totally embarrassing him. But I do want to recognize him tonight as much as I'm embarrassing him, because he's always been my biggest champion and supporter. He's always been there. He doesn't have much of a choice because my co-owner and the founder of our company is his mother. So, I like to think he does it because he loves us. But, and then as I mentioned a little bit earlier, through the hard work of my staff, other local businesses, and our local community, we not only survived the hardest year of my personal and professional life, but we actually grew, and we grew a lot. We grew 42% over 2021, so very similar during a pandemic year. And actually, if I looked at my growth over 2019, which was kind of like the good old days, and we actually grew over 60%. So I'm not going to say it was easy. It took a lot of hard work and tears and the word that I've come to hate, pivoting. But we did it. We also managed to record our biggest gross sales ever in the history of homemade toffee. And we broke a barrier that I had been trying for a very long time, even pre-COVID. Again, that's gross, not net, because of all the inflation and cost increases, but we're working on it. We continue to introduce new flavors, such as birthday cake, bourbon brown sugar. We have a great collaboration with Back Porch Coffee. I love Dave and his staff over there. They're amazing. And then Marionberry. And so I have original samples in Marionberry that I put out. And speaking of Marionberry, a few weeks ago, that flavor won Best Chocolate Candy at the Oregon Chocolate Festival in Ashland. And there was a lot more competition this year. There was a lot of toffee companies that I don't even know where they came from, but we won. So I'm being petty, sorry. And probably the biggest accomplishment and the one I'm most excited about, but also equally terrified about, because that's somehow possible, is the purchase of our commercial building from our landlord. We're in the works on that. And it's actually a building that I've had my eye on for 10 years. I used to drive by it every day, and 2 years ago it fell into our lap as a kitchen, and now we're looking to purchase it. So after years of struggles with rent hikes, expensive kitchen upgrades on leased facilities, so you're putting all this money into something that you might necessarily ever see again or have to get to take with you, and then the worry of having to move yet again. That resonated with me, Amanda, moving tons of equipment. We hopefully will finally be in control of our own destiny. I also hope, we're growing so fast, so no promises, but a goal would be to also possibly do some incubator things and help other small businesses and women-owned businesses, because it was really hard to find our own kitchen for many, many years. I'm lucky to have our current landlord. He has shown us immense support during COVID. And it feels great to finally have someone rooting for us and our business, not for their own benefit, but just because they truly want to see us grow and succeed. And that's been huge over the past 2 years for us. This spring and summer, which is technically our slow season, will be spent crunching numbers, updating our cost of goods yet again, and then for the first time ever, actually maybe even contemplating looking at a possible sale. It seems weird to say that because this is my baby and a decade of the hardest work I've ever done. But as we grow, and we grow so fast, I'm constantly wondering if I'm the right person to scale it, if I'm the right person to keep doing this. And so I do really want to sit down and really think about that, especially, it sounds cliche, but after the last year that my husband and I had, it's not all about work and 80-hour weeks. So we'll be doing a lot of soul searching and figuring some things out. And now for my ask, and I actually have two. You're probably only allowed one, and Edco told me that you're not supposed to bribe people, but I did bring samples, so I have two asks. Speaking of crunching numbers and trying to figure things out, I need help there. I can sell all day and market with the rest of them. We've grown to almost 1,000 stores that we're in across the nation. But I'm a chief Toffee officer, and I am not a chief financial officer. And so I just really need help there as we grow. It's always important, but lately it's just more and more important, and I'm realizing where I lack and where I need to ask for help, which is hard, but I need help. And beyond that, my number one ask is actually the same ask that I asked in 2020. I still think above anything, it is still the most important, and it's not even an ask for me and for Homemade Toffee. It's an ask for my community. And as the world opens back up and people are resuming old habits like Amazon Prime and big box stores, is to shop local and shop your community as much as you can. At one point, our online sales were up 700%. They evened out at about 500%, and now we're back to like 2019 levels. So please, 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 and I know artisan products and handmade products and local products are going to be more expensive, especially with the inflation and the cost of good these days, but whenever possible, I just please ask everyone to look at your local options first. And that's where I'm gonna end it, because to me that's probably the most important takeaway from this, is that a lot of us, even though we have all this growth, we're still struggling. So in ways, yeah.
Well, yeah, how about a round of applause for Randi? First of all, I want to say you're a great public speaker, so whatever feelings you have about that, throw it in the trash, because you did great. Did she not? I really appreciate your honesty, your vulnerability, and as we move through this whole thing together, I think everyone really does, so keep doing that. And he doesn't look embarrassed, he looks great.
Well, I am going to embarrass for the Q&A session my employee.
Yeah, let's do it.
So this is Lalo.
Hi, Lalo.
And you get to come up here. When I talk about the last year of my life just being impossible without staff, this right here has been the pillar. He's our production manager, but if you watch at all our Instagram page, we also call him our flavor guru.
Ooh.
He's
so
a
we
whiz
have
in
you
the
to
kitchen.
thank, Lalo.
Yes. So I wanted to bring him up here to recognize him, but also a lot of questions usually tend to be around flavors.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's the flavor guru. So
absolutely. Well, I'm very proud of you. I know this has not been easy, but you've done a phenomenal job. And oh boy. Uh-oh. And I'm back. Sorry. So what are you most excited about right now? What is like really helping y'all keep it going, and what do you get excited about?
Coming up with new flavors.
Coming up with new flavors.
That's the main thing.
Well, I'm going to ask you, Lala, so go ahead and give it to him. How do you come up with new flavors? And hold the microphone very close. I know you don't want to, but.
A lot of test tasting. Everybody likes candy, so.
We like taste testers. Okay, yes. Any volunteers? Do you ever like wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, that's it, cotton candy, friggin', something like that?
Yeah, sure. All the time. All the time.
I come up with random things and I just shout them out to him all day long, and then he makes it happen.
Oh, that's the
So
best.
there's like certain flavors, like Marionberry, that for years we were like, how do we put Marionberry in toffee? We got a freeze dryer. He made it happen. And for the giveaway, we're going to actually see if anybody could guess our Easter flavor that when we talked about it, everyone thought we were insane. And now our staff actually thinks it's their favorite.
Well, okay, so let's do the giveaway at the end. Let's do some more questions for now. How did you find Lalo?
Networking, basically, through Allison at the Bend South Liquor.
Yeah, all right, so through booze. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Any questions from the audience for Randi and Lalo? Any questions? Tell me again how long you've been in business.
So my mother-in-law founded the business in 2007. 2011, I started to bring the product over here and do farmers markets. We found out very quickly that Bend was a much better place to grow an artisan business. And then 2013 is when we really started to get into wholesale and have our own commercial kitchen and just really grow.
Yeah.
Lalo came on board, 2019. The good old days.
But was it? I mean, look at us now. We can do so many things.
It's just so funny that now we compare things of pre-COVID and COVID.
No, I know. We can't help ourselves. One thing I wonder is have more people purchase bidets? We can get into that later. Kurt, what's your question? What's the best place to buy locally or some
he just
options?
Wants to hand me the microphone. I don't like to play favorites because all of our retailers are so great to us.
You can list as many as you want.
Okay. Some of the first places, how about some of the first places that supported us when we were super small and had terrible packaging? How about that? Yes. Locavore. Yes. Locavor's always been great, and it's just amazing that my new building that I had wanted when I would deliver to the old Locavore is the building that's next to their original building on First Street. Newport Avenue Market found me at the farmers market. Took a chance. We're in all market of choice locations in the state. I don't like to play favorites because we're in tons of little mom and pops too. It's all on our website. You can check it out.
Yeah, I love to see your product all over the place. Well, I think so. You've driven past this building for 10 years, and did you kind of have a feeling like, gosh, I would love to have that building,
oh, yeah.
or?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so you have to really think about this for a moment because that's really powerful to be like, I was open to that and now it's happening. So I think as far as your transition or what the kind of next iteration looks like, you got to think about what you want because this is a big,
I need to think about some lottery numbers.
You need to think about some lottery numbers.
But not to sound too woo-woo, there is something there about manifestation, whether it's woo-woo or not, or I knew I loved that building and I wanted it and I worked hard for it, or you could go the whole
creative process
route,
one way or another, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's very cool. Any other questions from the audience? Yes, in the back, Mr. John Stark.
You mentioned challenges. What keeps you up at night?
Challenges. What keeps you up at night, Randi?
Everything. Yeah, my husband.
All right.
Not going there. My puppy, because not only did we decide to get a puppy 1 month before we knew chemo was going to start and run a business, new staffing, price increases. I dream about work. That's a loaded question. Yeah.
How's the puppy doing?
It's his puppy.
How's the puppy doing? Great.
She's very cute.
She is. They do that on purpose so you don't kick them out of the house in the first 6 months.
Yes.
It's by design. Any other question? Yes? He's relatively new to Instagram, and he's wondering what your Instagram handle is.
Just at homemade Toffee. We'd love for you to follow. That being said, I haven't posted in about a week because we've been really busy in the kitchen, and that always tends to kind of take a back seat. But we usually do giveaways and talk about staff and new flavors and all sorts of things. So if you give us a follow, I promise to update it soon.
At Homemade Toffee, and it's HOLM. Okay, so Brandon, get on there, get yourself a giveaway. Any other questions for Randi? Yes.
With the big shift that happened in your business, were there any key decisions you made in terms of hiring people to manage Instagram, or you must have had a shift recently?
When you had a big shift in your business, were there any key decisions you made that really paid off?
Yes. In addition to Lalo, basically keeping the doors open, we had another longtime employee named Caitlin. She recently just moved to St. Louis. We're super sad that she left, but we're really, really proud of her. She was one of my oldest, but youngest employees. She'd been with us the longest. She actually started in high school with us and would help me with farmers markets, and then she'd come home from college in the summer. She came home after she graduated college, and I needed help. And so Lalo does all of our production, but I did need help with the marketing and the Instagram and customer service. And she wanted that experience on her resume, and we made it happen. And she got her dream job in St. Louis, and she's there now flourishing. And we miss her so much, and we need her so much, but we're so proud of her.
When was the last time a young person moved to St. Louis? You know what I'm saying? That's wild.
She was able to afford a house.
That's wild. I might be moving to St. Louis.
Yeah.
Any other new hires that have come on recently that you're excited about? Or are you looking for people right now?
Right now we actually skew very young, and we've hired in the last year more high school young women than we've ever had. Our product is very, very time consuming, especially the packaging portion. We have 8 high school young women, and they are amazing.
They have a ton of energy.
They have energy. I kind of actually get offended now lately when I hear people say kids these days, or
oh, me too.
Their work ethic just isn't. They're not millennials. I don't even know what generation they are these days.
They're the noobs.
But they have self-awareness. But they have compassion for each other. They're very kind.
Oh, they're so quick.
They work hard, and they've been given a real raw deal. Listening to them talk when they work about missed, graduations and proms and activities, that they've thrown themselves fully into work. There haven't been activities for a long time. There weren't sports, and Lalo and I have just been so impressed.
I know, you think about us, it's like we were alive during the 80s and the 90s. What kind of a weird bubble was that? Did that really happen?
Yeah.
I know, these kids,
So that's what I've
they're
been
amazing.
most excited about, getting to mentor, talking about community over competition. And we have a sign up that says, support your local girl gang. And Lalo is our only male employee, but he's got daughters and a wife, and he's a great influence and mentor, and he puts up with all of that female energy in the room. And we have a couple that are in culinary classes and just really
so cool.
interested in furthering their culinary career, and he's very patient with them and lets them help and work with batches and things.
I'm just so impressed with the two of you. I really am. It's lovely. Okay, last questions before we move on to the giveaway. Anybody have a last question? Yes, Skylar.
You had mentioned early on, I believe, business is seasonal, revolved. It makes me think about the holidays a lot. My question is around, how do you market or strategize yourself towards the holidays? You mentioned flavor earlier. It makes me think about packaging a lot. Either myself or the Easter Bunny or Santa Claus, as we go through some of the retailers that maybe not be in your retail center, like big box stores, we're grabbing off-the-shelf stuff that looks like packaging. Oh, it's got Halloween on it, or it's got Easter Bunny on it. We think it's going to fit for our kids. And then we go to eat it, and it's just plain, like chocolate. It's nothing special.
Yeah.
We've tried your stuff, and my kids are all thumbs up. They're both on it.
Oh, good.
So I just think about that instantaneous moment where I'm a dad with multiple kids, and I'm going through the box stores, and I'm grabbing stuff with packaging. Have you focused on packaging towards holidays?
So this is a question. I love this question, and I love the sweet faces affirming that your product is amazing. A question, are you strategizing your packaging in terms of holidays in order to compel people to purchase over something that, as you said, is just sort of, it's got a bunny on it or whatever, but it's not anything special?
Yeah. We're not really gimmicky. We focus on good ingredients, local ingredients. Our lavender uses Tumalo lavender, and we probably should be pushing that a little harder with an Easter bunny or something like that, with lavender being so spring. But we try to focus on the quality. Our packaging, we do have the ability to kind of change up some of the stickers and things that we put on there, but we mostly push the flavor. So part of the giveaway, when if we can see if anyone can guess
It's so interesting because you're really asking your consumers to sort of level up and be a little more sophisticated as a consumer, and I appreciate that very much. Okay, so we're going to do a giveaway.
Okay.
It's a fancy giveaway. It's very exciting. What's in the box? And how do you want to run this thing?
So this is another big change that we made over the last year, 2 years, is to help support other local businesses. So this is our foodie box. So not only does it include Toffee, we're big on not just pushing our product and ourselves all the time. So our foodie box has local tea, local coffee, local honey, candy bars from Portland. What am I missing? Caramels. It's just chock full of products that we love and people that we love and want to support. So this is our foodie box, and we're going to give it away to the first person that can correctly guess our Spring Easter release.
Yes, shout it out.
Ah,
Carrot cake. Is that it?
Carrot cake.
Oh my God!
And with the addition of our freeze dryer, Lalo actually freeze dried real carrots.
Also carrot cake. I'm so happy for you, but happy for all of us.
And there are carrots on it, which seems bizarre.
No,
and
it doesn't. It sounds
we
great.
skew very young high school staff. They all looked at us like we were insane when we were freeze drying carrots. But it tastes like carrot cake.
I think it's amazing.
So it's got baking spices from Savory Spice. It has freeze dried carrots. It's good.
Oh, that's so cool.
And it's
Carrot
available
cake.
on our website now.
Oh, well, that's awesome. Congratulations. Congratulations to you. Well done. So proud of you. Yeah, you can just leave it right there. How about a round of applause for Randi and Lalo?